If you have been feeling like you are constantly just restarting on trying to get back onto a routine, trying to get back with your healthy habits, and you just can't get in a groove, I've been there, I get it. So this video is for you if you want to start getting up earlier, getting back into a fitness routine, just getting back on track with healthier habits and building that discipline. I'm going to share how I kind of changed my relationship with the word discipline, stopped cutting myself so much slack in a healthy way, and how that sort of shifted everything for me mentally and physically while giving you tangible tips. So just on a personal note, after college, I kind of had a rude awakening, I would say. I went right into a job in celebrity PR, which is kind of all consuming. I was feeling really out of shape after college. I think a lot of us have been there. I went to school in New Orleans and it was my senior year and I was just going, for lack of a better term, balls to the walls. And I literally immediately after college was like, I need to hire a personal trainer. Like I just was really craving getting back in shape, but then also starting this new career in corporate America where I'm like starting at the bottom in entertainment, which is kind of ruthless. So suddenly I was trying to get in shape, but I had to be at a desk at 9 a.m. I had to be working until, I don't know, 7:30 p.m. I had to go home and I was dealing with gut issues at the time as well. And I couldn't even cook a healthy meal because I didn't have time and I was so burnt out. And I just remember one day being like, I got to start working out before work. And how I got there was through workout classes and signing up for a class and feeling that energy of other people and not having to program my own workout or anything like that. That was how I went about it. And I just remember it turned my entire day around, feeling like I worked out, I showered, I finally got in my desk and I was like, oh, I had a whole morning for me. I have endorphins running through my body and it doesn't matter if I end up at this desk until 9 p.m. because I got that workout in the morning and it just helped me so much. I needed a routine of my own before I was giving my energy to everyone else, essentially. And at the time, I hadn't read Atomic Habits by James Clear, but essentially what happened was I had to change my mindset to a new identity. He calls it identity-based habits. So if you can change your identity to someone who works out and takes care of themselves, it's kind of like, okay, what would someone like that do? And you start to just shift your identity, which then helps you shift your habits way more easily. But it's been 6 years since then. So I have since then become a morning person. As I said, I read books about habits. It just completely changed my life. And now my identity really is someone who takes care of themselves. Like even in wedding season right now, seeing all these people be like wedding glow up, wedding prep checklist. And I'm like, I already do most of this. Like I already do take care of myself actually. And it's so cool to look back and be like, I am someone who prioritizes themselves. And I've developed the identity that I wanted to when I read that book and was reading about identity-based habits. So it's cool to look back on. And so what my routine looks like now is every day, and you can watch, I have a ton of vlogs and morning routine videos, but I wake up around 6 to 6:30, depending on how many times I snooze. And you will always find me meditating right away. That was a whole journey figuring out what meditation style works for me. So a big part of discipline and changing your life and healthy habits and all this stuff is finding things you actually enjoy. You don't have to meditate in one certain way. You don't have to work out in one certain way. There's an abundance of things out there for you to try in every area. So that's a huge part of the journey. So I meditate by like 7 a.m. I'm done with that. I make my coffee. I sit with my fiance. We drink coffee together. We journal. And then when he leaves for the gym, I get my little time where I get to finish my coffee and my breakfast and watch my favorite YouTubers. And it's just building a routine that makes you excited for your mornings. Like I now want to wake up when my alarm goes off. I mean, I snooze a few times, but I'm never going to just skip my morning routine and sleep in unless, you know, I actually need the sleep for one reason or another because I look forward to it so much. So building a routine in the morning that you actually can look forward to is key. Discipline, I feel like, is almost like a dirty word. It sounds like someone who doesn't cut themselves slack or someone who tortures themselves. And it's like, no, it's just holding myself accountable to do things that make me feel good, not to torture myself. So then I will work out between 8:30 or 8 and 9 a.m. And this has looked different over the last few years because if you've been watching, I was training for a half marathon, then a full marathon. I was in like a whole race training era and now I'm in like aesthetics mode for my wedding, like literally officially starting this week. I started with a personal trainer. I have a whole new split that I'm gonna be starting now, which really excites me. I like to switch it up. So with that, my biggest tip is having a plan. If you don't have a plan for what your morning is gonna look like, or more importantly, what your workout's gonna look like, you're either not gonna wake up, you're not gonna do it because you don't have a plan. So you wake up and you're like, okay, I woke up, what do I do now? now. Or you wake up and you're like, why did I set my alarm for this time again? So having a plan is like my biggest tip. So one thing I always do with just figuring out what, now I know what time I have to wake up in the morning because my routine is so solid. But when I was kind of figuring things out and, anytime I switch jobs or anything like that, whenever I have to figure out a new routine, I count backwards. So I'm like, okay, I got to be ready at my desk at this time. So then I got to be showering at this time, and I just count backwards. So then you have your whole morning planned out, and the night before, you know what time you need to set your alarm for. And in the morning, it's like you have less of an excuse to snooze or to not show up because you have such a plan. And hopefully you're excited about that plan. I hope you're not forcing yourself to do anything that you don't want to do, because that's not what discipline is, in my opinion. So I think there's like a reframe that needs to happen around what you're waking up for, and that it's for yourself to feel happier, to feel better. It's not to torture yourself. And if you feel tortured by your workout, maybe you got to switch it up. So go try a spin class, go try working with a personal trainer, go try a different app. Honestly, every app, I know it sounds silly, but there's so many apps and trainers or free programs you can get online, but like they all have a different energy to them or a different format, and like just finding what works for you. Or maybe you love planning it by yourself or working with ChatGPT to figure out your schedule, and then you get excited to show up for it. So that's really important, is having a plan and making sure it's something that you somewhat enjoy, or even if it's just enjoying the feeling right after, you get your run in and then you get to go have the reward of like grabbing an iced coffee after, like something to look forward to in the morning that will get you there, and having a plan. Also, a little pro tip is habit stacking. So one thing that I do that's a healthy habit that I have habit stacked, I think I started this maybe 3 weeks ago, and I already feel the association hit. So what habit stacking is, it's another James Clear idea, is using one habit that's so solid that you do every day and stacking another one onto it. So like I said, I drink coffee while I journal. So every time I'm sitting on the couch with coffee, it triggers my brain to be like, oh, I should get my journal. So it's like combining something you love to do already with a new habit. So for example, something I strategically do also is every time I have to fold laundry, which I hate doing, I actually love doing it now because I pair it with listening to a podcast. So I now enjoy it because I'm like, oh, I get to listen to a funny podcast, an inspiring podcast, whatever it is. So I stack those two things and associate them together, and it gets me to fold the laundry. So a new habit stack I came up with that's a really healthy habit that I'm really happy about is a daily walk every day. So I am a freelance video editor for podcasts. So every day I work for a show that records and posts daily every single day. So every day I know around 1 o'clock I'm going to get that footage and I got to listen to it in order to make clips from it, right? So every time I get the footage and I get it on my phone and ready to go, I now every day associate it with my midday walk. So I'll eat lunch and then I go for my walk and I listen to it. It is now a healthy habit stacked onto something that I have to do for work. So kind of working these healthy habits into your already existent daily routine also makes it, number one, enjoyable, but also number two, approachable. It doesn't feel like you have to change your entire life. You're just tacking something onto something you're already doing. Now let's talk about discipline versus motivation, because I think, like I said, there's some negativity associated with discipline, and I don't think it should be that way. I think discipline is doing the thing even when you don't feel like it, because you know that it'll make you feel better and happier. Again, we're not torturing ourselves. I think motivation is the want and the desire and the why and the goal. For example, this morning I was doing a hill interval workout in the heat with Ethan, documented that on social media because that was hell. But having this goal and motivation in mind of like how I want to feel on my wedding day or how I want to feel right after this workout, knowing that I put it all on the table, having that why and that goal to come back to when you don't feel like doing something is imperative. Or like I said, like when you wake up and you're like, why am I even up? Let me go back to sleep. Like having a plan, a goal, a vision, it really is so important because you're gonna need to draw back on it when you don't feel like doing the thing. And then another thing I love to do that really holds me accountable with discipline is looking at the facts. So I think we've all been there where we wake up in the morning and we're like, I want to snooze. Or even I'll be sitting on my couch and I'm like, I don't feel like working out. So I always check myself and I'll look at the facts. What are the facts? Do I have my period? Did I go out last night? Am I dehydrated? Like, do I truly need the sleep? Do I need the rest? Does my body actually feel like it would benefit from resting and recovering? And if so, great, we rest. If it's just a mindset thing, and if you ask yourself, if it's just like you don't feel like doing it for literally no reason at all, but it'll make you feel better if you just do it, that's where the discipline comes in to like think about the goal, think about your future yourself and just get yourself there to do it. No matter what it is, a workout, a midday walk, the amount of times I just don't feel like getting up to go for a midday walk and I just want to sit and listen to the podcast on my couch, I'm like, you are going to feel so much better if you can just take the next 2 minutes to get your sneakers on and get out the door. You're going to be happy when you're outside. And every time I prove that to be true. So it's also like the more evidence you can get that it's true, kind of like the saying, you never regret a workout. It's like the more evidence you have to support that, you know that that's where the saying comes from. The hardest part is getting there. Again, I don't fully agree with that because I think you need a plan. But in the situation like getting up for a walk, when all the evidence points to I'm happy about it every single time, the hardest thing is getting there. Another thing I like to do or to tell myself when I am just lazy and the facts aren't that I just like need to rest, I'd like to remind myself that done is better than perfect. So we've all half-assed workouts before, right? Like we've shown up, we haven't done all the reps, we didn't really push it that hard, we were supposed to do a burpee and we kind of just like half-assed it. That is better than doing it perfectly. I will be so proud of myself, like if I was lazy and I got a kind of half-assed workout in, I'm like, wow, you got on the mat, you did the thing, you went for a long walk, like whatever it is, done is better than perfect. And you will be so much happier later that you just did it, even if it wasn't at 100% capacity. So showing up, even in a small way, is going to build trust within yourself. And sometimes you just need that extra accountability. You need to just show up for a class, get that energy, or go for a long walk while listening to a podcast that you love. Like make it more enjoyable. Sometimes you need to do that. So pivoting your strategy, done is better than perfect, and reviewing the facts. One last tip to kind of just get in the habit of reminding yourself how good you're gonna feel, or if you need proof that like these healthy habits actually make a difference in your day, in your overall health, journaling in the morning and night with little prompts. So I love the 5-minute journal. I have been using it for years because it truly makes such an impact on just checking in with myself and recognizing the difference that these habits actually play in my life. Because in the morning, you set your intention for the day really quick. So what would make today great? And you'll notice that after a long period of time, you'll notice like, oh, what would make today great? You keep writing working out, you keep writing stretching, you keep writing getting out of the apartment, at least I do. And then when you get to check in at the end of the night and write amazing things that happened today, you'll realize that the amazing thing that happened wasn't like, it's not always like I got a promotion. Sometimes it's literally like I got outside in the middle of the day, or I used my standing desk today. And when you start to recognize those patterns of what a difference it makes in your mental health and how proud you are of it and all of that, it does hold you accountable to keep doing it because you are checking in and recognizing the difference. And I think when we kind of just go through life without checking in, without realizing, like I started realizing that I was like, oh, what would make today great? Like getting a meditation in. What was the amazing thing that happened today? I actually meditated when I didn't want to. Like those are the things. Showing up for yourself is what makes you feel so happy and healthy. And I think we just go through life blind sometimes. And so the journaling practice is really helpful to showing you just how important it is and just making it something you want to make an effort towards and not something you just like get inspired by while watching this YouTube video and then forget about because you're checking in every morning and night. I have full videos, although maybe outdated. So comment below if you want me to upload a new one. But yeah, I think I haven't even given my tips with like my alarm clock or anything. So comment below if you want a new updated video on how to start waking up earlier to work out. I have tips on like cultivating an environment, getting excited to wake up in the morning, all of that. So let me know if you want a dedicated video to that because honestly, I think it would just make this video far too long. And lastly, the mindset shift that really helped me cultivate some more discipline was I kind of fell in love with impressing myself, as silly as that sounds. Like once you realize, and sometimes it's through other people, like I know it has been like that for me and I've related with a lot of friends on this, is noticing people in your life that you just want to shake them and be like, you have a choice. I know you're struggling. I know you feel lethargic, all the things. Like when you finally come to terms with the fact that like, oh, I'm the reason I haven't stuck to a routine and I can change that. I think facing that reality and being like, I want to progress, you know, with running or whatever it is, like really wanting that for yourself and realizing and opening your eyes to the fact that you have a choice is what's going to make all the difference. And I think that paired with doing things you actually love is really important. And also realizing maybe there's things that you're doing that you think you should do but aren't making you happy. Like, I don't know, celery juice in the morning or reading at night. I don't know, random habits that you hear are good for you. If they are not serving you, check in with that as well. See what you are gravitating most to. You clicked on this video, maybe there's another habit. You love book talk, but you never read. Like, what's exciting you? See if it actually serves you, and just cultivate a new identity and a new lifestyle. Because I think when you think of it as like, I'm going to change my life tomorrow and I'm going to force myself to do certain things and be so disciplined, it can get really obsessive and you can spiral when you don't hit certain points. But when you kind of rework it into like, this is just my new lifestyle, my new identity, you're just going to keep showing up. And you'll also start to realize that sometimes it makes you happy to like take a day off. Like, I love a free day. I love a recovery day because I know that it's serving me. I think when you're phrasing it as like a cheat day or whatever, that's where it gets toxic, but that's a whole other video. I hope this helped. Please comment down below, what is one habit that has completely changed your life? Comment it down below if you've made it to the end of this video. Subscribe if you're new, and I will see you in the next video.